Thank you for joining this master class of Tired of Leading from Stress. Regulate your nervous system to lead with calm confidence. This is maybe the first time you ever heard about, right, putting these two together, nervous system and leadership. Let me tell you, it's crucial, it's imperative. Learning about this can transform how you lead. My name is Coco Duan. If you don't know me, if you're new to my world, I am an executive life and a leadership coach. And I empower women to lead with calm confidence and create success that feels fulfilling. And so this masterclass, I'm going to talk about leading from stress and how to change that. Many of us are leading from stress, but we don't even realize it. If you are always putting out fires, always feel like everything is urgent, let's have this sense of anxiety, very reactive and constantly on edge. Or sometimes you're physically present but emotionally checked out because you're exhausted. Or sometimes you're paralyzed by overthinking. You want to act but feels stuck. It's like, I want to, but I can't. If you have experienced any of those scenarios, it means you are leading from stress. And you are not broken, there's nothing wrong with you, and that is also not your personality, and that's something you can change. And you are in the right place to learn how to change that. Because we were taught to just rush, push, and power through. We think that's normal, but really, no. Stress isn't a leadership trait. It's a signal that you are dysregulated. Your nervous system is dysregulated. This masterclass helps you understand the nervous system patterns behind how you lead right now. And also I give you practical tools to help you to shift from survival mode to sustainable, effective, and powerful leadership rooted in calm, clarity, and confidence. Wonderful. Are you ready to dive in? Okay, let's do a quick quiz to understand where you are right now. What kind of leader are you right now? So there are I've identified 4 types of leaders. It's really based on your current nervous system states. And these 4 type of leaders, 3 of them are dysregulated and 1 of them is regulated. And based on the description, I want you to think about which one you are. You want to identify which one you are right now. So first one, it's called the firefighter. The firefighter leads from a sympathetic state. Don't worry about the technical term. I'm going to explain all those technical terms later. So it's in a state, you lead from a state of fight or flight. So always put out fires. You are feeling anxious, reactive, and constantly on edge. The thoughts you tend to have are, everything's urgent. If I don't do this now, things will fall apart. We need to act now. Sensations, how you're feeling in your body. If you truly pay attention to your body, you'll notice there's tension in your chest or jaw, rapid heartbeat, shallow breathing. These are all the signs that your sympathetic nervous system is activated and feeling like you are running away from a tiger. You're evading danger. The emotions you're feeling: anxious, frustrated, angry sometimes, irritable, and yes, and tired. The actions you tend to take: on, constantly on, go, 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 do, have like micromanaging, pushing others, rushing decisions, snapping at others, lacking patience, and have a hard time slowing down. So sorry, the microphone. You may have not be able to hear me properly. The microphone was okay. So let me go back really quick to, you may have not heard me well because of I forgot to use the microphone. Okay, so let's start with what kind of leader are you? The first one is firefighter. The firefighter, I'm going to give you a set of thoughts, emotions, and actions. I want you to self-identify. So firefighter is a type of leader that leads from a sympathetic state, fight or flight. Always put out fires, feel very much anxious, reactive, and constantly on edge. The thoughts that you have: everything's urgent. If I don't do this, things will fall apart. We need to act now. Once you pay attention to your body sensations, you will notice the tension in your chest, in your jaw, rapid heartbeat, shallow breathing. Feels like you're running away from a tiger, evading danger. Emotions you are experiencing: anxious, frustrated, irritable, angry sometimes, and just tired. The actions you tend to take is constantly go, 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 do, performing, micromanaging, pushing others, rushing decisions, snapping sometimes, just lacking patience. Also have a hard time slowing down or turning off even when you feel tired. So that's firefighter. The second one is the ghost leader. This is the type of leader leads from a dorsal state, shut down or collapse. Physically present, but emotionally checked out. Feel very much disconnected from yourself and others. The thoughts you tend to have is, this is pointless, it's not going to work, I can't do this. Sensations you're experiencing: numb, feel heavy, just feel very drained. The metaphor I like to use is almost feels like a bear in hibernation, just lack energy. Emotions you feel: apathetic, unmotivated, and hopeless. The actions you tend to take is avoid conflict, withhold feedback, delay decisions, disappear during high stress moment because it's just too much. The next one is the deer in headlights. That already give you a pretty good visual. Leads from a freeze state. It is immobilization, right? Not be able to move. So it's very much about paralyzed by overthinking, want to act but feel stuck. Is this opposing thought? I want to do it, but I can't because I can't trust myself. I can't trust my team. What if I make the wrong choice? The sensations, you feel frozen, feel stuck, tight chest, literally feels like you're being trapped. Emotions: confusion, indecisiveness, and overwhelmed. The actions, procrastinate. If you procrastinate on something, that's the stage you're in. You delay, you avoid visibility, and you get caught in planning but resist action. So those three leaders are all operating from survival mode, leading from stress. The firefighter, the ghost leader, and the deer in headlights. The last one is the grounded leader. This is the type of leader that lead from a ventral state. It's regulated, safe, grounded, present, and connected. Calm, clear, leads with presence, not pressure. The thoughts this kind of leader has is, this is important. I can handle this. I trust myself and my team. I'm capable. We can do this. Sensations that you're experiencing: relaxed, energized, open, grounded. Breath flows easily. Emotions, you feel confident, calm, creative, connected, emotionally aware, and steady. When you're in this state, you can listen deeply, communicate clearly, and respond, not react. Make intentional choices. You create psychological safety for your team. You drive change without chaos. You inspire trust through steady presence. Hearing the descriptions of all 4 different types of leader, which one do you identify the most majority of the time? So, this is my experience. Most people lead like the firefighter, the first one, the firefighter. That's how I used to lead. For the majority of my corporate career, I worked in corporate for 20 years. I would say 19 out of the 20 years, I led like a firefighter. I was productive, strong sense of urgency, feel like house is on fire, never ending to-do list, just one thing after another, constantly pushing myself, pushing my team. I get impatient, frustrated, even though I cared about my team, but I couldn't help snapping at them, and even a couple times like yell at them. And really, I felt horrible afterward, but I couldn't control at the moment. Eventually, they didn't feel like, even though I care about, but they didn't feel like I care about them because my actions didn't match with my intention. Eventually, they burned out, they quit, and I burned out too. Because it's not just I led like a firefighter. Most leaders that I worked with, my bosses, the CEOs of the companies that I worked at, most of them led like the firefighter. It was a norm. So in that environment, we were taught, oh, that was the right way to lead. Right? We normalized it. But there's a different way. There is a better, much better way. I'll show you later. So only until the last year of my corporate career, when I started the journey of my inner work, becoming the CEO of my inner life. When I calmed and regulated my nervous system, everything shifted. I turned out to be a very different leader. I transformed my leadership style. I learned to lead like a grounded leader from a regulated place. And my team felt it. It's not just I felt better. I felt calm, grounded, centered. I was able to think clearly, communicate effectively, problem solve creatively, and think more strategically. More importantly, my team felt it. I was more pleasant to be around. They wanted to work with me. They were inspired by me. And the team culture changed because I changed. The way I led changed, resulted in less turnover, high morale, more collaborative, more trust, and eventually higher productivity. We actually were able to deliver better result as a result of that. Isn't that win-win-win, right? So how? Okay, first of all, right, why there were 4 different types of leaders? Because the 4 different type of leaders are really comes from 4 different states of our nervous system. The leadership styles I mentioned above, they are not your personalities, and they are not your leadership traits. They are not fixed. Once you change the state of your nervous system, you can change the way, the style that you are leading. When you are dysregulated, you are dysregulated leader, like a firefighter, the ghost, and the deer in headlights. But when you're regulated, you lead like a ground leader. With that, let me explain. Let me give you a quick nervous system 101. 101, right? So what is nervous system? Nervous system is literally the most operating system in your body, your whole human existence. This system, think about it as like an operating system and as a database or inner surveillance system. This system creates your whole human experience, your thoughts, your sensations, your emotions, and your actions. The number 1 role of this system is to keep you safe and keep you alive at all cost. How does it do its job? It has a database, and this database lives in the body, not in the brain, in the body, through the, every receptions, right? Neural receptions in our body, our skin, our heart, the intestines, and every part of our body. So it remembers every single lived experiences you had. Brain only remembers maybe 5%, consciously aware only 5% of them, but body remembers every single one of them. That's why there are times you sense something's off. You have a hunch, but you cannot explain, right? That's why. That's literally your nervous system is giving you the information. So all your lived experiences is stored in this database. Now, when your current situation, your present moment, when you do something, when you experience something, the nervous system goes to called neuroception. It's almost like a threat detector, because this is all about asking this one question: am I safe or am I in danger? This nervous system just constantly asking this question: am I safe? Am I in danger? When you experience your current situation, this threat detector goes into the database and then see, okay, the similar experiences from the past, doesn't have to be exact match, similar flavoring of this experience from the past. Was it safe or was it dangerous? If it was safe, then you're good to go, right? You don't feel any anxiety, fear, frustration, none of that. You don't not getting triggered. But if the past experience of a similar flavoring was not safe, your nervous system sounds alarm. And this sound, the alarm, is how you feel like you're being triggered. You feel nervousness, anxiety, frustration, anger, sadness, disappointment, all the so-called negative emotions. That's how it works. And with this different kind of threat, then it sends our nervous system to different states of dysregulation. When it senses danger, the first state it goes to, it's called sympathetic. It's the fight or flight. It's the state the firefighter leader operates in. This state is all about seeing the danger. This is dangerous, not life threatening, meaning you can do something about it. So our instinct is to what? Either fight with it or run away as quickly as you can, evading danger. That's why you feel this sense of urgency, constant go, 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 do, house on fire. Everything needs to be done now. Otherwise, I'm in trouble. I need to micromanaging. I need to make sure everything is okay. So that's where this energy is coming from. When your sympathetic nervous system is activated, because your nervous system perceive the current situation as dangerous because it wasn't safe before. That's the first state goes into. The second state goes into is the dorsal, shutdown or collapse. That's the ghost leader state. How does this happen? It's when you're in sympathetic for too long. Imagine you're running away from a tiger for hours or even for days. At one point, your system is going to run out of energy. When it runs out of energy, but still need to keep you alive, what does it do? It just collapses and shut down. So that you can still preserve your energy and keep you alive. By that point, you're just very much checked out. And that's what burnout is. That's when people say, I'm burned out. That's what this sympathetic nervous system dorsal state. Because you've been running away from danger for too long. So that's the ghost leaders nervous system state. Then there's last one is freeze. It's the freeze state. It's blended state of both sympathetic and dorsal. It's one side equal energy of want to go, 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 do. The other one is no, I can't, right? So just imagine if you're watching this video, you can see I'm pressing my palms together in front of my chest. And I use equal force, pressing them against each other really, really hard. Okay, if you do this with me, you get to experience this. It's not moving anywhere, right? Looks like nothing's happening, but do you feel how much actually energy it consumes? Yes, you cannot hold this for too long, yeah? So this is the state of freeze. That's the deer in headlight state. That's the state of you procrastinate. You know you're supposed to do something, but you don't want to. Right? I want to, but I can't. I want to, but I can't. And that is the state that you would really just feel very much indecisive, on the fence, and feel, trapped state. And that's the sympathetic state. It's also a form of protection. So with that, when your nervous system is dysregulated, it's all about evading danger. So I'm going to give you more details of what those danger. How come, right? How come we are being dysregulated? And the last one is regulation. There's one state of regulation is that you are in ventral. When you're in ventral state, That's where you feel calm, centered, grounded. You feel that you are capable, confident, and competent. Only when you're in this state, your full brain is online. When you're dysregulated in those three states, your full brain is offline, meaning that your prefrontal cortex, and that's the executive function of your brain. That's where differentiate human versus other animals, that we are able to actually think, plan, and be creative. That part of the brain is shut down when you're dysregulated. Even though you can be productive, but you can be even more productive if you're operating from a regulated place. If you want to be able to think clearly, strategically, creative problem solve, and be more effective and be more productive, you want to regulate your nervous system. And regulated nervous system regulate other nervous systems. Because we have this called mirror neuron. You can sense it. Right? When someone who is grumpy, you feel it. And someone is calm, you feel that energy. It will affect you. So that's why it's so important for you to regulate your nervous system, because your nervous system state creates your team culture, your company culture, and even your family culture. Right, 20 years in my career, I attended so many leadership trainings. I was taught how to communication skills, influence skills, and motivational skills, right? All those skills. You cannot activate those skills if your nervous system is dysregulated. You don't have access to it because you can say the right words. They can give you the script step by step this is supposed to do. But your team doesn't care about what you say. They feel, they sense how you show up. If your words and your actions or energy not matching, the words do not have any effect. So that's why if you're stressed, moody, or grumpy, they don't feel safe. They activate their nervous system. Then they won't be able to really show up as the best version of themselves. It's the same thing. At home, it's the same thing, right? If you're exhausted, tired, and stressed, and you come home unintentionally, unconsciously bringing the stress home, then it affects the state of the nervous system of your partner and your children as well. So that's why it's imperative for you to regulate your nervous system. Before we get to how to regulate your nervous system, let me explain what causes dysregulation to begin with. Why this is such, I would call it epidemic. It's literally like, I would say 99 and 98% of the leaders I see, I experience, I have worked with are leading from dysregulated place. But why is so widespread? There's many layers of reasons. First is our societal culture. Our societal culture is very much a hustle culture. It's like productivity culture. It's all about, can you do more? Constantly go, 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 right? It rewards you on your productivity. And people want you to stay busy and produce more, perform more, make more money, chase higher titles. That kind of culture conditioned us to just go, go, go. And that activates our sympathetic nervous system. Because if you rest, because in order to regulate your nervous system, you need to have stress and rest. Cannot be stress the whole time. When you stress the whole time, that's where the problem is. But the culture very much promotes this stress, constant, non-stop, go, do. That's one. First one is societal culture. Then it trickles down to corporate culture. Corporate culture, as I mentioned earlier, I learned how to lead from the leaders that I worked with. 20 years, I've worked with dozens of leaders, or hundreds of leaders. I can count in one hand of leaders who are leading from a regulated place, who are grounded leaders. The rest of them are just, majority of them are firefighters, and then there's the other ones too. Then we believe that was the right way. Let me give you an example. I remember when I was my first job out of business school, I was working for a big, like, global consumer products company. We had this general manager. He was very moody. What is moody? Moody is like, sometimes you are regulated, sometimes you're not regulated. When you're not regulated, you're reactive, you get angry, frustrated, right? So he's like, have this mood swing. And when we worked with her, we like literally walked on the eggshell. We didn't know which kind of version he's gonna show up. So whenever we had some important business proposals, we want his approval, we would ask his executive assistant, checked with her first. It's like, is Larry in a good mood today or in a bad mood? If he's in a good mood, we're gonna come over, have a conversation with him. But if he's in a bad mood, we're gonna wait for another day. That's how your team operates. If you're moody, that's like, you cannot run a company like that, right? People don't feel safe. You cannot be productive like that. But we've learned, we normalized it because so many leaders, I like that. I always also worked with CEOs, startup CEOs. They were like shouting at people, yelling at people, and hurling insult at people in meetings. And we were all just like scared because we could be the next one. And they were firefighters. They were operating from their sympathetic state, right? They felt like they were running away from danger, and then made everybody else feel like we're running away from danger because they are the danger. So it just created this vicious cycle. That's where toxic culture. So many companies have toxic culture. It's not because people are bad. I don't believe leaders are intrinsically bad. No, it's just they are not aware that they are under so much stress. Their nervous system is dysregulated, that they created that kind of behaviors, and that created the toxic culture. The last one is what causes dysregulation. It's so much is your personal history, is your personal experience. As I said earlier, your nervous system goes into the database of your lived experiences, then detect, right? It's like, this similar experience from the past, is it safe or is it not safe? So there are common ones. There are common ones of cues of danger. Cues of danger from the past. One is that if you grew up in an environment that doing was safe while slowing down was not safe, then you were conditioned to just go, do all the time. That's where, right, the doer protector came up. So what does it look like? Look like it could be that you were rewarded for being very helpful when you were younger. You were rewarded because, right, let's say at home you didn't feel as safe, but school, that's where you thrived. You participated in all sorts of activities. You got recognition, acceptance from doing those things all the time, joining all different clubs and great academic achievement, and being elected as the club like president, all sorts of things, right? That was me. I was very busy at school. I just love to be engaged in all kind of activities outside of home, because home wasn't a safe haven. But outside at school, that I felt I have more control, and also that's where I got the recognition. So this the doing became my survival mechanism, because doing felt safe. Slowing down didn't feel safe. So that's where personality come from. And that's one. The second is also, if you have the tendency to just overachieve, want to be the best, the desire to be the best, because being the best was safe before. Not being the best wasn't safe. You create a lot of pressure on yourself. You become very demanding of yourself. As a result of that, you become you became really demanding for your team. This is also was my experience, overachieving. Bringing home, I remember bringing home 97 out of 100 on the math test, first grade. Third in class, wasn't good enough. My mom criticized me. Over and over, I learned that I needed to be the best. If I didn't bring home straight A's, if I wasn't the best, I can come home and feeling criticized, embarrassed, and rejected. So that conditioned me to always giving my all, giving my 120% at work, and pushing my team to do the same. That's the second one, the cues of danger. The third one is being self-critical. Because when you are being self-critical, guess what? You are critical of your team as well. Where did this come from? Also come from your childhood. That was also my experience. My parents were not just my parents, adults in my life in general. My parents, my teachers, my relatives were all tend to be very critical, because they believed tough love was the path to growth. They very much focused on what I could do better, my insufficiencies, inadequacies. They rarely praised my strengths. So in that environment, when I made a mistake, it was all very much harsh criticism. In that environment, I learned to criticize myself first. I internalized the criticism. I criticized myself first. When I criticize myself first, guess what? My nervous system thinks that other people won't criticize me, because I'm going to get myself in line. Also, the self-criticism, the criticism got me to perform. I thought that was the only way to get me to perform. That's where it comes from. When you're being self-critical, as I said, you are going to be very critical to your team as well. And last one is being a perfectionist, because being perfect, making mistakes wasn't safe. Now you have the tendencies, everything needs to be perfect. You over-prepare, overwork. Not you overwork. You push your team to overwork. You micromanage your team, because you don't trust them not to make mistakes. Because if they make mistake, then it's a reflection on you. Then you don't feel safe. So see, how does it work? It's because of all the past experiences that you have that they were not safe. And now you develop those survival strategies, I call. Right? Being busy all the time, being a doer, being an overachiever, being self-critical, being a perfectionist, they are all survival strategies. Those survival strategies activate your nervous system and make you currently lead like a firefighter. because you perceive all as danger. Right? If I'm not doing enough, that's not safe. If I'm not being the best, that's not safe. If I'm not being self-critical, that's not safe. If I'm making a mistake, that's not safe. So that's where you see danger is everywhere. That's why this just constant go, 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 do, house on fire, urgency, and right, driving other people crazy, pushing other people to the edge, and pushing yourself to the edge, too tired but don't know how to rest. And that is where it's coming from. So there's nothing wrong with you. It's just your nervous system is dysregulated. Because so much it's because your past experiences and past emotional wound, and you developed this strong survival mechanisms, and they helped you to survive, to even thrive, not thrive, well, survive and succeed to this point of your career. But it's not sustainable. You cannot continue to operate at this pace because there's a cost. What is the cost? There's so much cost. You probably can feel it. Your personal toll is what? Stress. I've so many of my clients, they come to me because they're so stressed out. They're like tired. I'm just so tired. It's like I don't even like myself. This grumpy. I'm just feeling grumpy all the time. I'm not even kind and generous. That's what they were telling me. How could you be kind and generous if you're just running away from tigers all day? You just wanted to get out of danger. You have no bandwidth to be compassionate, to be kind, to be generous. Doesn't mean you're a bad person, but that's the result of your survival state. When you do that long enough, then you have health issues. Headaches, migraines, chronic pain, fatigue, autoimmune disease. You hear that a lot, right? There's so much study on that. The chronic, this, how do you say, the so much of the chronic disease, and it's all coming from chronic stress. So that's a personal toll. There's a professional impact too. Negatively, when you lead like a firefighter or other dysregulated state, actually your team, you create negative performance impact on your team. High turnover, poor culture, less trust, less collaboration, resentment, eventually burnout, people quit, right? So you're just stuck in this cycle. Then there's also invisible loss, which is you are not even probably experiencing right now. That's like missing from your life, the joy, the clarity, the creativity, the fulfillment. You cannot feel fulfilled when you're constantly putting out fires and just running away from a tiger. So you're just very disconnected from your gifts, talents, your purpose. And that is not a great way to live or lead. Okay, now you know. Now you're like, oh, Coco, okay, I know. I really wanted to move from this firefighter leader to a grounded leader. How do I do that? This is the tool I'm going to give you. Very practical and accessible. You can start doing it today. And this is called neuro exercises. Neuro exercises, basically what it does is reshape your nervous system. So you want to do it. The key is almost just going to the gym to exercise the muscle. You want to do it consistently, and you want to be able to do it regularly and consistently. Set the alarm. You want to check in the state of your nervous system. You want to regulate your nervous system on a regular basis. Set alarm once every 1 or 2 hours. Check the state of your nervous system. Take a pause when the alarm goes off, take a pause. Say where I am right now. Am I in ventral, which is grounded, centered, calm? You feel relaxed, you feel engaged. So that's ventral. Or are you in sympathetic? That's where you feel anxious, frustrated, angry, emergency, that you just need to get it done, a lot of energy in your body, just constantly to move. That's the sympathetic. Or are you in dorsal? Shut down, collapse. Just want to give up. The last one, freeze, is procrastinate, want to do it, but I can't, want to do it, but I can't, on the fence. So check with yourself which state you are in. If you're not regulated, if you're not in ventral, if you're not feeling you're grounded, centered, that you, in that moment, you need to bring your nervous system back to regulation. How to do that? I give you three methods. Breath, sound, and movement. So I can say it's all body-based. Why? Because nervous system lives in the body. You cannot think your way into regulation. You need to feel your way into it. And this is not woo stuff. This is literally neuroscience, biology. There's so much research on this. And this modern society, we very much train disconnect our body, right? We live the life just like walking head and very much a chin up kind of lifestyle. And does a huge disservice to our life, our leadership or so. So you need to really learn to connect with your body. First is just breath. The most accessible one, because breath is the only automatic function in your body that you can consciously control. How amazing is that? You cannot control your heartbeat. You cannot control your circulation, the speed of digestion. No, but you can control your breath. And that's your lifeline. That's your life source. So what you do is that you wanted to, if you can, right? If you're in a meeting, just put your hands on your belly. But if you are in the privacy of your own, just put up one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. And take a few deep breaths. As simple as that. And make sure, one key thing to remember is to make the exhale slightly longer than your inhale. Just a couple of seconds longer. Because doing this literally is telling you, your body, that you are safe. You are safe in the present moment. When you put your hand on your body, that's additional. This touch is a primal signal of safety. It really helps you, like anchors your awareness in the present moment. Because in the present moment, you are safe. What makes you feel you're not safe is because, as I said, right, you superimpose the past on the present moment. Things were not safe before, and you still perceive as not safe in the present moment. That's why bringing yourself, ground yourself, anchor yourself to the present moment is the key. First is breath. The second one is sound. Use the sound to soothe. Because the sound creates a soft internal vibration. Sigh, deep, long sigh. Just that, right? Do a few of that. Even just doing that right now, I actually feel a relaxation in my body right there. Or humming. Whatever, right? It like comes natural to you. It releases tension and signals to your body that the threat is over. The last one is movement. The movement, also very simple, depends on where you are, but simple, sway side to side, or shake it up, or stretch, or take a walk. in your office or outside of office for a few minutes. Just that, to shift states. Let me give you a couple examples why this work. This is really our human body's function, and it has its tool. We have these tools available to us to help us to feel safe. If you have ever had experience with babies, when a baby is crying, even you don't have much of a training about how to calm a baby, we just pick up the baby, right? And we pick up the baby, we will like sway the baby from side to side, do a little bit of humming, and pat the baby on their back. They calm down. You don't need to have a PhD or master degree to know how to calm a baby. So it's the same thing, isn't it? It's the same sound and movement. That calms the baby down. That means it will calm you down too. The other example I want to give is, have you ever seen a dog? I used to, my little dog Nina, she passed away several weeks ago. When she was so afraid of water, when I was giving her a bath, she literally felt she was going to die. That was her nervous system got activated. But as soon as we finished the bath, she would just like shake her body really hard for like 5-10 seconds and just run around the house for like a mad little dog for like a minute. And then after that, she's all good, back to normal, and she's like so happy. That's the instinct, right? That's her instinct to release the stress. Shake and running around. It's the same thing for our human body. When you experience stress, when your sympathetic nervous system is activated, there's so much tension inside. There's so much energy is stuck inside of your body. If you just hold it in for a long period of time, that's when the problem happens. That when you experience the pain, that's when you experience burnout and shut down all of that. But if you're able to release it on a timely manner, then you're good. Right? So our nervous system is not about we need to be in that ventral, ground, calm, and central state all the time. No. We need sympathetic energy. We need that burst of energy to actually produce, to evade danger. We need that, but we just cannot be in that state on a long-term basis, on a chronic basis. That's the key. So you want to have stress and rest. Stress and rest. That's the way to grow, just like a muscle. When you exercise the muscle, you feel sore, then you rest, then you recover, it grows, right? It gets stronger and stronger just by that cycle. If you just constant stressing it, you're just gonna give up. It's the same thing for our nervous system. That's why you need to learn this. Use this tool, simple tools: breath, sound, and movement. Check in with yourself. Set an alarm every 1 or 2 hours. Check the state of your nervous system. When it's dysregulated, use the breath to ground, use the sound to soothe, use movement to shift your energy. When you do this on a regular basis, you will feel so differently. And you feel safe inside your own system. Only when you feel safe, grounded, then you can really show up fully for others. Because your nervous system is regulated, then you can regulate others' nervous system. Your regulated presence is your greatest leadership asset. For real. For real. Because once you have that, when you have this regulated presence, you can be more effective. You can be more productive. And you can motivate people more, can generate better results. You build better relationships. And all of that, you do it in a more relaxed way. Also, you can experience more peace, joy, and fulfillment in your life. How wonderful is that? You can rest more while producing more and rest and receive more. So that's imperative. And okay, so that's the master class. I hope you enjoy the class and all this information really resonated with you. And if this resonates with you and you truly want to embody this shift, obviously this shift takes time. And I'm only giving you the tip of the iceberg because there's so much that I can help you to truly not just understand it, to embody it, to do it. And I love to support you. So that's exactly what I help my clients do in our one-on-one coaching. In this one-on-one VIP coaching container, I take you step by step to help you stop leading from stress and leading from calm confidence. And you may wondering, oh, will this coaching work for me? Well, that's why I make the next step very simple, just to schedule a free 1-hour consultation call with me. This call is not a sales call, it's a clarity call. I help you to identify where you are right now, where you want to be, where you want to go, and what's the gap in between, right? What are your challenges? What's holding you back? I give you a personalized support plan. After this session, you're going to walk away with powerful insights. Whether we decide to work together or not, if we are going to work together, that's fantastic. If not, you're still going to take away with powerful insights to move forward with. So please, if you're interested, you can DM me for this one-on-one or 1-hour free consultation. You can just DM stress, and we can schedule this call. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Also, I would love to hear your biggest takeaway, and also if you have any questions. I know that we're almost out of time. You can DM me or put in the comments your questions. I'd love to hear what your biggest takeaway is and what questions you have, and then I can help answer to support you on this journey. Welcome. Now, thank you again for joining this wonderful masterclass. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.